Turning now to gas prices, has the pain at the pump plateaued? Gas prices averaging an all-time high $5 a gallon, but have not increased in 5 straight days, even down fractionally today. Yahoo Finance Editor-in-Chief Andy Serwer is here with what's fueling the political shouting match. You see what I did there, Andy? That's why you hired me.
Oh,
fueling
the
political shouting match.
Yeah, nicely
done. I'm good.
Yep.
So President Biden, how fixated is he on the price of gas, and what can he do about it?
Yeah, I mean, this has been a big issue this week, you guys, for President Biden. On Wednesday, he wrote big oil companies a letter jawboning them, saying it was essentially unpatriotic or not right to have high profit margins during wartime, even though it's not our war, while Americans are paying, $5 plus at the pump. Still, then on Thursday, yesterday, an interview with the AP, he said, this is the key issue, sitting around a dining room table where Americans talk about how well they're doing, which is pain at the pump. And, obviously it speaks to the midterm elections coming up and then even his own re-election down the road.
So Andy, I want to ask you, what position does this put the oil companies in, given, the 28 largest producers made close to $100 billion in combined profits in just the first 3 months of 2022? And we did have a guest say, look, it seems like President Biden is punishing us for doing well. So how are the oil companies responding?
Yeah, Rochelle, I mean, where are they? They're between a rock and a hard place. And, the real problem here that the oil companies are putting forth is that they've been jawboned heretofore by the administration to cut back on producing oil to transition to a non-fossil fuel economy, right? And so now all of a sudden they say, okay, these same guys are coming back to us and saying, hey, wait a minute, can you give us more gasoline? And, they're saying, well, wait a minute, just 2 months ago you were saying to stop doing the gasoline. And I guess they have a point, although, you have to say, okay, yeah, when the facts change, why don't you change what you're doing? And they sent back a letter to the president after he sent the oil companies a letter on Wednesday. The API, the American Petroleum Institute, sent a letter back refuting the president's position and offering a 10-point plan on how to make America more energy efficient and independent.
Well, Andy, you mentioned the fact that this has been a topic now. Everyone knows that they're paying more at the pump. People are talking about it at the dinner table. What can people do? Are there certain steps that they can take to help save some money on gas?
Yeah, I wrote about this, Sean, and I'm being a little bit flip, right? I mean, to be quite honest, a little bit trolly. One thing is drive less. Okay, it's like, I can't drive less. Well, we kind of take for granted in this country the right to have cheap gasoline, the right to drive so much. And we pay just so much less than countries in Europe. Hong Kong is like $11 a gallon. Europe's north of $7 a gallon. Number one. Number two, you look at the states where people pay the most for gasoline per income, and it's red states, it's poorer states, and the richer states, people spend less on gasoline. So just something to think about. Number two, buy an EV. Okay, I can't buy an EV. A lot of people are buying EVs. Tesla's sold, 600,000 units year to date. That's close to double of last year. The F-150 is for sale right now. Sales are brisk. So, that's another thing that you can do as well. And, I think that the point three is, investing. And it is true that when the price of gasoline goes up and you're feeling pain at the pump, well, guess what? Big oil's making out. And you look at the companies that the president sent the letter to. It's Exxon, it's Chevron, it's BP, Shell, Marathon, Valero, and Phillips. And, those companies do well during these times.
They're doing awfully well. Is there any meeting in the middle there where we can ramp up production a little bit, or are both sides just going to stay in their corners until we get to an election?
Well, I think there's things around the edges. I mean, to be fair to the oil companies, the production is pretty much, near capacity, right? There's not a lot of more room for them to move. I think that around the edges there are some transitions they can make at certain facilities. The president can also talk to Canada. He can talk to OPEC about getting some relief there. So it's probably the case
the Saudis in his case,
right? The Saudis in his case, his new best friends. And by the way, you guys have mentioned demand destruction. If the price goes up to $6, demand will drop. And then we'll see prices fall back down probably.
Yeah, I hope we don't see $6 a gallon, but
Yeah, it could happen.
Around 5. It certainly could happen.
Usually it doesn't peak till August,
yeah,
right?
I know.
We still got a ways to go.
All right, Andy Serwer, Yahoo Finance Editor-in-Chief, thanks so much for joining us. Have a great weekend.